Raila Odinga spoke about different things. He talked about modeling the electoral system similar to what is currently there in the US. So what would it involve? Would we then have 47, I don't say IEBCs because Prof. amesema independent toa, so electoral agencies, especially considering his proposal that political parties second members to these agencies. And then third, he also talked about if we cannot track the ballot, the vote, each vote electronically, then we might as well consider going fully manual.
I like answering questions directly. The question you posed, the theme of this discussion,
a game changer or
a fool's errand. Mm-hmm. And I want to plead with the erstwhile Raila Odinga, an enigma in Kenyan politics who's made tremendous contribution to the democratization of this nation, that he has embarked on a fool's errand, what we call an unruly horse. He surmounted an unruly horse from which he might not return. What is this obsession with changing yourself over and over again like you have absolutely no vision? On the one side, momentarily you look like you're the best thing that happened to Kenyans after sliced bread. And then one moment later, you are looking like you are so lost in the ocean. Kenyans have absolutely nothing they can think about you. I want to persuade him and the people who think around politics, around him, because I know he has a lot of them. 2017, the strategy around 2017 elections for Raila Odinga was, go to the elections, there's a possibility that you might not win. Either create a situation in which we go for a runoff, and then some things happen and so on and so forth. But if we go for a runoff, don't participate in the election. Okay? And in his thinking then, having read, I think, paragraph 292 of the Raila Odinga the judgment of 2013, where the court had said, if you do not go for election, then it means there's no election, because it's supposed to be between the one who's been declared winner and the first runners-up. What happens? Ekuru Okot gets into the middle and creates that other person with whom President Uhuru Kenyatta could have actually gone into an election with. And so Raila Odinga is left with a very difficult scenario, of course, which now forces him to get into the handshake. Okay? In 2022, Raila Amolo Odinga fails to do only one small thing. He refuses to deploy agents to the polling stations. Okay? And as a result of which, we don't know what happened. He can't tell himself because his agents were not there. But before that election, I was telling some of these guys that, you know, we have 46,000 plus polling stations. And if you don't have agents in the polling stations, there's a possibility you can lose only 5 votes in a polling station. Multiply it with the number of polling stations, and you can easily see you could lose the 200,000 votes that he lost. Okay? Kenyans have walked a long distance. IEBC and election laws have been argued in the courts for many years. And fortunately, this constitution has provided quite a lot of opportunity for Kenyans to get some democratic elections to be done. Now, we have gotten very serious gains from some of this litigation, including the decision that my colleague has cited, the Maina Kiai case, which makes the polling station the focal point for presidential elections. All you need to do is get your agents there. We are not interested in changing a result. If Raila Odinga did not win at the polling station, we are not interested in creating an IEBC that will declare Raila Odinga as president if he did not win. What we need is to be sure that what was cast as votes for the president in the polling station are actually the votes that are brought here to Bomas. Okay? But you must have your people there at the polling stations to ensure that the correct votes are counted. Now, this question of devolution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is the foolishest proposal I have heard in all time. The US, where we have borrowed significantly our general system of administration from, is a continent. Some of the states there are bigger than Kenya. with serious economic wherewithal, very serious built institutions. In fact, the Constitution of the United States allows the states to create laws around which those elections are going to be conducted. Now, just imagine, if at the national level, this national parliament, constituting of both Senate and National Assembly, cannot guide us properly on how to conduct elections, what would happen if we left this, for instance, to the venerable county government of Nyamira, okay, to create laws on how to create our elections? What would happen is this: you get extremely interesting figures from every part of this country, and you would not be able to tell who became president. Our counties have not reached that level of maturity. So let us keep to the gains we have already acquired. And in my view, this parliament has a role now, considering the judgment of 2022 by the Supreme Court, to look at a very serious and simple thing, okay? The results that have been brought to Bomas from the polling station, okay, are they the correct results for purposes of tallying, verifying, and announcement of presidential results?
Okay.
What I agree with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court stated it, the role of tallying, verifying, and announcing results should not be a preserve of the chairman of the IEBC. Because let's give Wafula Chebukati the benefit of the doubt. Suppose he was correct this time, all right? Eliminating the rest of the commissioners and doing it by himself, okay? What if next time the guy doesn't do it correct? So what Parliament needs to do, and urgently so now, is really not so much a question about who appoints IEBC commissioners, because you can get someone appointed who you think is your friend, but something happens along the way. Friends disagree on many other things all the time. What you need to do is ensure that you have a corporate structure called IEBC, clarify on what it means, on what Article 138.3c as read together with Article 138.10. Clarify on what it means when it says, when the framers of the Constitution said that to tally, the commission to tally, verify, and announce results, and then clarify it side by side with the requirement that the chairman of the commission shall declare results. Okay? Once you do that, then what we expect to happen is that all those things that you have displayed in the portal and the protocols about how they will be collated, verified, and tallied, and then eventually declared, are a corporate process that is not available for abuse. And then most importantly, Parliament having created good protocols on how the results pathway right from the polling station appears at the portal. Go down and say how that image should look like, all right? Parliament can legislate on what it thinks is important for that result to come to Bomas. And then once that happens, okay, now extend the period for the question of interrogation of that process should someone have a dispute.
All right.
Take it to 30 days so that someone can go and look at it and say, look, here there was a problem, here there was a problem, and then now the court is able to say, well, these issues actually do affect the result or they do not. Okay. So that everybody is happy about what that process is. But don't tell us that we go again and start afresh with the amount of work that has already been put in.